Hello, and thank you for joining me. I'm Evangelist Esther Ross, and you're listening to Bold and Faithful. Please subscribe to this channel, click on that notification bell, and share this truth with others. Bold and Faithful channels your inner being where the Spirit of God dwells. Within 48 hours of New Year 2026, God led me to choose this channel name, a name that strongly touched my brother as well. The name is my reminder of Daniel, a Hebrew who remained bold and faithful in his honor to God. Christians are followers of the religion Christianity, a religion that originated in Rome by Romans to replace the final message Yahushua, the Son of God, left in Matthew 28, verses 16 through 20, CJB and OJB. He left this message for his Talmidim, students desiring to be as their teacher, a message falsely named the Great Commission. It was said to his students, who were men from the covenant tribes of Israel, and through those students, a messianic community began. Acts 11, verses 25 through 26, CJB. Then Barnabas went off to Tarsus to look for Shaul, and when he found him, he brought him to Antioch. They met with a congregation there for a whole year and taught a sizable crowd. Also, it was in Antioch that the Talmidim for the first time were called Messianic. They were not called Christians, and this was not an emphasis to begin starting religions nor build churches. Rome also introduced Catholicism, a religion that began through the Roman Catholic Church, where followers known as Catholics participate in this religion. Neither Christianity, Catholicism, nor any other religion was a request from God. It was not a command from God, and no scripture can be found from Genesis to Revelation that supports starting religious groups, yet billions of people honor their preferred religion. Foolishness is rejecting God's instruction. And unchecked foolishness is why religious beliefs and traditions never offered from God are followed without regard for truth. Christianity and Catholicism follow the same path as the Pharisees and Sadducees, the two religious groups that broke away from God's will and began ways of their own. The Pharisees were a strict Jewish group of people focused on adhering to the law and oral traditions. The Sadducees were more aligned with Roman interests. They were a priestly group that held power in the Sanhedrin, from the Greek word sundrion, sitting in council. Sanhedrin was a council of Jews who controlled civil and religious law. God never chose either of them. God chose one tribe to receive instructions for teaching Israel. It was the Levites. Numbers 3, verses 9 through 10, CJB. Assign the Levim, Levites, to Aaron and his sons. Their one responsibility in regard to the people of Israel is to serve him. You are to appoint Aaron and his sons to carry out the duties of the Kohanim, priests. Anyone else who involves himself is to be put to death. Satan was created by God. God had knowledge of every move Satan would make. And knowing this, Satan still opposed God, both in heaven, dividing the angels, and on earth, when Satan disguised himself as a serpent and brought division in the garden created by God in the city of Eden. Yeshua, the shortened name of Yahushua, told us what to expect from Rome and Roman soldiers because their disguised cunning operation has been much like the opposition of Satan. During the time when David was king of Israel, God told the prophet Nathan what should be done concerning building a temple, a house for God. Yeshua told us beforehand that Rome would destroy the temple of God. Matthew 24, verses 1 through 2, CJB. As Yeshua left the temple and was going away, his Talmidim, came and called his attention to its buildings. But he answered them, "You see all these? Yes, I tell you, they will be totally destroyed. Not a single stone will be left standing." In the year 70 CE, Common Era, General Titus of Rome led Roman soldiers to invade Jerusalem, kill Jews, steal property, and destroy the temple. Steal, kill, and destroy. Long ago, Daniel prepared us for the Greek language and the Greek culture. that would come. However, it came more from Rome than from Greece. Romans were polytheistic Gentiles. They worshiped idol gods. Persians were also polytheistic Gentiles. But listen to the difference between Rome and Persia. Rome became defiant against the feast days of God. Rome named heaven's planets and renamed planets after their idol gods, after their Roman idol gods. Rome formed religions, titles, and the papacy. Now compare Cyrus, king of Persia. Daniel 10, verses 18 through 20. Then again, someone who looked human touched me and revived me. He said, "You, man, so greatly loved, don't be afraid. Shalom, peace to you. And be strong, yes, truly strong." His speaking to me strengthened me, and I said, "My Lord, keep speaking because you've given me strength." Then he said, "Do you know why I came to you? Although now I must return to fight the prince of Persia, and when I leave, the prince of Greece will come." Daniel 11, verses 33 through 35. Those among the people who have discernment will cause the rest of the people to understand what is happening. Nevertheless, for a while, they will fall victim to sword, fire, exile, and pillage. When they stumble, they will receive a little help, although many who join them will be insincere. Even some of them with discernment will stumble, so that some of them will be refined, purified, and cleansed for an end yet to come at the designated time. Ezra 1, verses 1 through 3, CJB. In the first year of Koresh, Cyrus, king of Persia, in order for the word of Adonai prophesied by Jeremiah to be fulfilled, Adonai stirred up the spirit of Koresh, king of Persia, to make a proclamation throughout his whole kingdom, which he also put in writing as follows. Here is what Koresh, king of Persia, says. Adonai, the God of heaven, has given me all the kingdoms on earth, and he has charged me to build him a house in Jerusalem, in Yehuda, called Judah, renamed Judea. Whoever there is among you of all his people, may his God be with him. He may go up to Jerusalem in Yehuda and build the house of Adonai, the God of Israel, the God who is in Jerusalem. Rome, Romans, Italians, the Roman Catholic Church, Christians, and Catholics almost never properly recognize Adonai as the God of Israel. And the people who were created by God, they are the house of Israel. Yahushua came only to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. Read Matthew 10, verses 1 through 6, CJB, as well as King James Version. Ezra chapter 4, verses 1 through 5. When the enemies of Yehuda and Benjamin heard that the people from the exile were building a temple to Adonai, the God of Israel, they approached Zerubbabel and the heads of fathers' clans and said to them, "Let us build along with you, for we seek your God just as you do. And we have been sacrificing to him since the time of Esarhaddon, king of Ashur, who brought us here." But Zerubbabel and Yeshua and the rest of the heads of the fathers' clans in Israel answered them, "You and we have nothing in common that you should join us in building a house for our God. We will build by ourselves for Adonai, the God of Israel, as Koresh, king of Persia, ordered us to do." Then the people of the land began discouraging the people of Yehuda in order to make them afraid to build. They also bribed officials to frustrate their plan throughout the lifetime of Koresh, king of Persia, and on into the reign of Darius, which is Darius, king of Persia. Rome and Romans became enemies of Israel, of Jews. But the crucifixion was a method of death for criminals that came from Rome, an inhumane act that Rome turned into a totally different memory by associating the Son of God being on the cross with salvation and not that ugly, inhumane act of cruelty for criminals. It's amazing how you can change a person's mind by just consistently delivering a repetition of false information. Repetition, replacement, and influencing emotions can get a person to believe almost anything. Ezra 5, verses 11 through 13 and verse 17. They gave us this answer: we are the servants of the God of heaven and earth. We are rebuilding the house that was built many years ago, built and finished by a great king of Israel. But because our ancestors provoked the God of heaven, he handed them over to Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babel, the Kasdim. He destroyed this house and carried the people off to Babel. But in the first year of Koresh, king of Babel, Cyrus the king, gave authorization to rebuild this house of God. Now, therefore, if it seems good to the king, let a search be made in the royal treasury there in Babel to determine whether a decree was issued by Koresh the king to rebuild this house of God in Jerusalem. And let the king send us his decision concerning this matter. Ezra 6, verses 14 through 15, TLV. So the elders of the Jews continued building and prospering through the prophesying of Haggai the prophet and Zechariah the son of Iddo. They finished building according to the command of the God of Israel and according to the decrees of Cyrus, Darius, and Artaxerxes, kings of Persia. The temple was completed on the 3rd day of the month of Adar, which was in the 6th year of the reign of King Darius. A way that seems right will never be greater than honoring the path God says is right. God warns, God instructs, assigns, commands, and guides. God warned Adam about the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. God instructed Noah what to do so he and his family could be saved from the great flood. God assigned Abram to be removed from his former condition of polytheistic ways, identified in Joshua 24, verse 2, so Abram would become the father of many nations. God gave commands to the children of Israel in the wilderness. And finally, God guided Joshua, so the children of Israel could be delivered safely to the land God promised them. Romans, nor Italians received guidance to start a religion, build churches, reject Israel, call Israelites by the name Semites, or have the right to add or remove from a plan God already had in place, a plan for oneness. Read Ephesians 2, verses 14 through 17. Instead, much like Satan, those in Rome with power, titles, and influence came disguised with religions and churches as they put together a cunning method that conspired in order to inspire followers to be led by beliefs and traditions like sheep without a true shepherd. Matthew 9, verses 35 through 38 CJB. Yeshua went about all the towns and villages, teaching in their synagogues, proclaiming the good news of the kingdom, and healing every kind of disease and weakness. When he saw the crowds, he had compassion on them because they were harried and helpless, like sheep without a shepherd. Then he said to his Talmidim, the harvest is rich, but the workers are few. Pray that the Lord of the harvest will send out workers to gather in his harvest. God bless you all. Return next week for more bold and faithful, because I intend to give you the truth, not Sunday morning messages, not what's said about church and religion. Churches on every corner is the way man would have it. God would have it that you have churches built, if they're going to be built, that are going to replace the temple, that it be done so that there are few and the people who come are determined to be there. God bless you all. And again, return, because bold and faithful is about doing it God's way, not by the will of man. Take care now. So long.